Bonjour, good evening. It is Tuesday, the 25th of May. It is 7 p.m. on the bubble. It is Antony here from Seacast Live, and I'm joined by always my partner in crime, the man of mystery. His name is Captain Von Fugels. Well, it has been for the last couple of weeks anyway. John, how are you?
I'm well, yes. Partner in crime. I'm not sure what crimes yet, but I'm sure we can rustle up a few. No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm kind of fed up like everyone else with the weather. But bearing in mind we had lockdown last year, we had good weather. I'll take it that way round rather than the other way around. So we shouldn't really complain. But you've been out in the wind and the rain every weekend, right? Because it's your thing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we have the luxury of obviously living on the beach, and lockdown wasn't as hard for us as it was for other people being in the city like yourself and so on. I think the luxury of being able to just walk out of your front door and walk on the beach, take the dogs out and go surfing, go kite surfing, paddleboarding and all that stuff has been an absolute pleasure. And, this weather, I love it when like your old Facebook stories come up and you look at it and it's, you're walking around in shorts and t-shirt, and I'm in Cambridge now. It's I got the best view ever from my hotel window.
Oh, that'll be nice when it's done.
Yeah.
Have they moved the third runway then?
Yeah, it's coming to there. Thanks, Tristan, for booking me this hotel. It is different. It has changed, and I think we Seacast we do is live, guys. So we are actually here. We're human baked beans. And we do like people to comment on this as well. So if you're watching this and you feel like you want to comment, please chuck a comment on there. Brings it up here. We have a chat about it, and we go from there. So what does it's kind of evolved, this show, doesn't it? Seacast is the brain love child of John and I, and it's starting to come to something, I feel, John, don't you? I think that all the conversations we have offline, we're getting to kind of where we see all of this happening, right?
Well, at one level, nothing's changed. It's just you and me having a conversation about things we care about. Let's be honest. They're all things we care about. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about them. We don't always agree. Really, we agree. And
always right.
But you're right. We've kind of got a bit more focus. That doesn't mean we've actually done any planning. I think there was one text message from you and one from me today. That was about it. But no, you're right. There's a bit more thought gone into it. And last week we were talking about actually doing a Seedcast for real, so people can actually touch us and say, yes, it's real. It's not some computer generated thing. And we talked about doing that around, making it a kind of networking group. So when we swapped messages earlier today, I thought, well, maybe we should talk about networking and events, because the idea that we would actually do this in front of a live audience, don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting, them to be packed. I'm not like, we're not going to sell out, the South Bank, right? But it would be good to do. And people want to get back to networking. They want to get back to events. So we should talk about that.
It has. And we talk about it all the time, and it's changed. I mean, it's changed. Is that the right phrase? Because things change, evolution happens, I'm sure the view that I have from my hotel at some point wasn't the M11, and
a car park.
Yeah, and a car park. But I think when we look at networking, it does become a bit of a minefield. We were on a call today, you, myself, you, and Joella and Connor. And although Connor's just a little bit shell-shocked, I think, by the whole process that we're going through right now, we sat there, we talked, and we discussed them. We have some spirited conversations, but they always get us to somewhere we didn't really know we were going to get to. And I think networking is one thing and events is another thing. So let's start off with networking. You talked about it yesterday, I think, and I think I got on my high horse about it, about people not wanting to be on Zoom calls and things like that. Because we've got to, and we are hugely generalising here, it's because we've become callous to it, haven't we? Do you know what I mean? We've become callous to the what used to be a bit of a novelty back in the day was jumping on a webinar and go, oh, that's amazing. Now we've done it, we've looked at it, we've figured out how to organise potpourri, and now we can cook a steak from
cough and eat a crisp at the same time. Yeah. done all that.
Exactly. So I think what does networking look like for the future? The Seedcast will become. We've got networking for you as well, John and I, and we will always try to figure out what to do with that and where that looks. I kind of see that becoming a Seedcast thing for us.
Yeah.
Almost like in the same space,
But it is interesting. I mean, networking. There's an art to networking, and people used to go. They turn up at lunchtimes in a pub in the city, or they get up early and have breakfast up and down the country, or they go to something at a golf club, in the evening. And sorry, am I boring you? And but we stopped doing all that because of everything that's happened, and we all just kind of jump on a Zoom call, and you got networking groups springing up left, right, and centre, or have sprung up left, right, and centre. You've got those that had a following, had to move online. So what happens now? Because those that have sprung up, do they move? Do they stay online? Do they move into a mixed? What do they call it? Hybrid working. Maybe we've got hybrid networking. And those that used to exist before in your local, pub, over breakfast kind of thing. So it's really interesting from a business point of view what the networking groups are going to do. But the other interesting thing is the process of networking has changed. Right? Once upon a time, you're in a room, you could see everyone in the room, and you could kind of work out, and you could listen. If you were clever enough, you could listen to 2 or 3 conversations. Hopefully, at least one of the ones you're involved in.
Yeah.
And work out where you wanted to go next, and go and pick your conversation. Know an opening line. Know where to take that conversation. Now you're all jumbled together. There is no kind of ambient conversation, if I can call it that. And then you either all stay together and somebody presents and somebody presents somebody, or you go off into rooms, so you're kind of forced into a room. The dynamic of networking has changed. So now if you take all those people out of a Teams meeting, a Zoom call, a Hangout, a Google, whatever, all the other ones, and if you put them in a room, it's quite different, right? You're not going to corral people, and there's not going to be one person talking, and you're going to have to learn to, that social conversation without any objective, just to break the ice, or whether maybe that is the objective. So it's kind of interesting. I'm looking forward to. It's going to be great. I'm going to go to some networking events, just sit in the corner and watch it all crash. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and I think it will. I think if we look at that place across the road is called Herbie's, which is my dad's name. You're right, and I think what's interesting, right? We're almost at the point of taking off our masks, and being in an environment that we can sort of get back to normal. I was just next door. We're in like a truck stop, and next door is like a McDonald's and like the standard things that you have at motorway services. And I walked in there, bearing in mind it's triple massive front doors, and I walked through, and I was on the phone, and I had a mask on, and the person in front of me just stopped, and I kind of like went quite close, and she turned around. And she said, "You're invading my space." And I instantly thought, "Space invader!" And I instantly thought that thing that you put on LinkedIn earlier on. But I thought, we have all kind of got to the point where we're almost nervous to touch or bump into people or touch people. What's networking going to be like when there's 50 people stood in a room?
Well, and they're all not wearing masks. So, we're getting to the point where you're not going to have to wear masks. And some places are going to insist you still wear masks. And there's going to be people who still want to wear masks. I used to do a lot of business in Asia. Anyone get a cold or a sniffle at any point, in Japan, they wear a mask. So 7 days a week, 365 days a year, 1 in 10 people on the underground on the metro in Tokyo is wearing a mask, because that's part of their culture. So you're going to have people still do that. So how are you going to network? And you're going to be not wearing a mask, and you're going to have people backing away and backing away and backing away. Yeah. And you're going to want to try and talk to them because of all the noise going on. It's going to be interesting. I'm just going to get a pint, sit in the corner and watch. It's going to be great.
You're not. That's never going to happen. You're going to be standing at the front of it, telling people what they should be bloody doing and why are they not doing it. But I think it's important for us as human baked beans, as human beings, to grow by learning and educating off others. You know what I mean? And I think that our kids now have become, or millennials, are they, or whatever they're called? They or millennials have had such a weird lockdown that's kind of become their reality. It's become the Instagram, I know, WhatsApp thing, Snapchat reality, and that is. How do you get someone like a group of people like that, a large group of people, back into being able to educate from other people, being able to walk into a room where they don't know anybody and walk up to someone to say hi? If I said to my kids now, see that person over there, we don't know who he is, go over and say hi to him. There we go. Never in a million years. If I said I'll give you £1,000, they wouldn't do it.
But that's been evolving anyway. I used to, years ago, I used to get the 5:24 train. It's etched in my brain that much, at being on a station at 5:24.
Oh, sorry.
But I used to say hello to people just walking down the street. There was this kind of culture of, if you were up at 5 o'clock in the morning walking to the station,
you knew what you were doing.
You're part of a fraternity, right?
Yeah.
But you
well, I know the people I sit with on the train at 5:49.
Yeah, exactly.
We all know each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you wouldn't do that, And I remember, you turn up at a bus stop. There's 20 minutes to wait for a bus. So you'd start a conversation with the person next to you. Why not? You got 20 minutes. Now we've got a phone, so we don't need to talk to people. And that's the problem. The technology has replaced the need to talk to people.
Yeah.
And we've undone some of the social interaction that we used to have. And now we've kind of further exacerbated that by putting masks on and don't talk to anyone. So it's going to be interesting. The sort of chance conversation is just not going to happen. I mean, the Gen Zs, which are the people you're talking about, it's not going to happen. I was on a bus once, and a guy got on. I was waiting for a bus. Heaven forbid, waiting for a bus. Me, I was waiting for a bus.
You get free bus pass, though, don't you?
It was a long time ago, and I was poor.
I guess if it's free, you don't need. Yeah.
I was waiting for a bus, and a chap was asking me which bus to go to a certain location. And he wanted to go to a club in St. James's. And I said, well, it's funny enough, I used to be a member of that club, and I'm walking past it. I will take you there. An elderly gentleman, pleasant enough. So we got chatting. I'd have never met the guy if we hadn't started a conversation at the bus stop. He was the guy who wrote the TV series Colditz. And we went for a beer later. And we had a fascinating conversation.
What's Colditz?
The TV series about Colditz Castle. It's a German prisoner of war camp for officers. It also became a board game. But the interesting thing is, he wrote the TV screenplay and the books and all that. Oh, he didn't write the books. He wrote the screenplay. I'd never met him if it wasn't for that chance conversation.
Yeah.
How many of those chance conversations are not going to happen anymore because we're all a little bit nervous, a little bit scared?
Well, we talked about this earlier on, didn't we? About how about people have started. So COVID comes along. All of a sudden, certain things are desirable, or toilet paper you couldn't get, so people were stocking it to sell it, and people created businesses and business models and business plans and put things into practice, sat in their old jobs. Khalid, hey dude, how you doing? Thanks for commenting. Did a load of things which at the time seemed like there was going to be something that was good. Well, they're going to get to the time now where you can interact, you can start to grow. How do they change that business model? Is a networking event for them the way forward? Why did we even network in the first place?
Well, it's a good excuse to have a pint at lunchtime.
Yeah, do we need those?
Or a full cooked breakfast?
Yeah.
Why do we do it? Well, I mean, for small businesses, for a lot of small businesses, it's the lifeblood of new opportunities and leads. So absolutely. But I think, maybe, I'm not saying networking events are over. I'm not saying the desire and the need to networking. But you're right. A lot of, I mean, I get an email a day from someone talking to me about funnels, and and it's like,
I got an email today with someone talking to me about funnels. Funnily enough,
yes, strange that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know who that came from. Yeah.
But the reality is, we've all we're using all this technology. We'll just build a funnel, and people will come, pour them in the top, and sift them as you go, and squirt them out the bottom, and take their money as they're leaving.
That was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Okay,
Book
never
them
seen
and
it.
they will come.
Build it and they will come. Never seen it, but okay.
Yeah.
So we've all got into this funnels. But there is still something to be said about talking to someone, building a rapport with them, understanding what they do, and actually helping them. And a society built on helping other people is a much better society than one built on, like a scene from Another Brick in the Wall, where we just push the kids through the sausage machine.
All in all, we just need another brick in the wall.
That's the one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if I said to the young kids that work for me, you're going to an event next week, and I expect you to stand on the stage, and I expect you to tell everybody how amazing we are at business and what we can do for them, they would go, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
And I'd be, you're going to go to an event. We went to that. What did we go to? FinTech event or RegTech event or something like
that? We went to several, but the one I think you're talking about was the FinTech event at the in Islington, the design centre.
Yeah. And events is a different story. So you've got networking events, which is, we do a lot of this stuff. I'm a member of the group called Members Only, and it's a recruitment group. Simon, the guy that runs it, is really good, and you get to, you network amongst other recruiters, but you can also ask other recruiters and so on. You got WhatsApp messages and all that sort of thing, which is great. But I do miss the opportunity of going somewhere thinking, I wonder what I'm going to get out of this. I wonder how we're going to get this out of this. And salespeople are all the same, right? It's about that opportunity that you haven't actually met yet. And when you walk in, you figure the person you need to speak to and you can go and talk to them. Whereas this digital space that we're stuck in is very much, it's a flat surface of well, I don't know. Clubhouse, funnily enough, I was on Clubhouse a little bit earlier on today, and I was like, Clubhouse is not even networking anymore, because people don't talk to you unless you are some guru that's got 500,000 followers,
or unless you're going to help them get 500,000 followers. I want to come onto your show. Why? Because I want to talk about this. Why? Forget it. I'm done with it. By events, you mean business events, but yeah, you're absolutely right. You're sending people to a business event, to a business show, and go, okay, I want you to come back with, I'm showing my age now, 20 business cards. You won't come back with 20 business cards. You'll come back with 20 images or whatever it is. But thanks, Ant. But the reality is, it's going to be difficult for people to do that who haven't had that experience, who haven't had that practice, and even the people like me who've been doing it for years, kind of out of the practice of wandering up to people and hijacking them and sort of, pressing the flesh and talking to them and trying to entice out of them the 4 things I need to know, which is, have you got budget? Are you the approver? Have you got a need? And what's your timescale? Bosh, but, there's other versions as well, Scotsman, Faint and all the rest of them. But that's what you're trying to do. How do you do that when you've not done it for a year? It's going to be interesting. I will get a point.
Do you think that with all this stuff happening and coming in, that this is, once it starts turning and we start getting in front of people, business is going to start, not that it hasn't already started doing well, and we're starting to get back on track as a country and as a community and all that sort of jazz. But do you think that once we get the opportunity to, well, look, I got background music, dude. Hang on. So, John, what do you think about the? Do you think it's going to give us the opportunity to? That's amazing.
This is like, what's that film, Nightcaller? Anyway, so no, look, we will learn and we will relearn and we'll remember, and new people will learn. That's human nature. Heck, once upon a time we all had to be taught how to use a spoon, right? So we can learn stuff. I'm just going to be interested to see the balance that will exist between the events that have moved online, how much of it will stay online, the events that, and networking is a type of event that have grown up online, what are they going to do? It's going to be interesting from a business point of view, see how that pans out. There was every show, bar none, that was at the XL, that was at Olympia, that was, well, Olympia not there anymore, but all those big venues at the NEC, every single one was canned last year. But of course they didn't cancel them, because that would mean they'd have to refund. They postponed them for a year and then cancelled this year.
You know what? While you were talking then, I got zoned out a little bit, and I was thinking, it's never happened to me before. I was actually thinking, what could be quite good? Because the thing I love about this, and the thing I like about this, guys, and if you have the opportunity to be in the kind of like the relationship that John and I are, sometimes it's super frustrating, I'd imagine, for me, and sometimes maybe even for John. And But I think when you do have that kind of relationship that we have, that you get to the point that things pop into your head and you think, you know what, this would be actually quite good. I think that when they start doing events and things like that again, that we should do our Seedcast live at things like at Annie Pallier events. Yeah. So it's a networking event, so we can get a load of people to go to these events as well. We can what our subjects and stuff like that can be relevant to what's going on in the in that show or in the local space at that time. But I think that could be a pretty good opportunity. Whereas the Seedcast stuff that we do, we've got a community now of people that follow us and watch us and stuff. I think it would be pretty cool if we could grow that community into, a place where we gave people the opportunity to talk about their own businesses and growth, talk about what they're trying to do and are trying to achieve at the same time as we're working on doing our piece as well. Because I've been to these, I went to the recruitment expo and there was people talking about all sorts of different things. I think it'd be pretty cool if we went there and we talked about, is the CV dead?
Well, my thoughts on that.
I wish the CV was. I had to send about 40 today.
So there's a blog on mission23.com for those watching and listening. Mission23.com. There is a blog called CVs, They're Not Worth the Paper They're Written On. Because everyone lies, right? And actually, the higher up you get in an organization, the more you lie, because the less checks that go on. Because if you've got that far, you're obviously pretty good.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, not all lies are huge. You might have had a job for 3 months that didn't work out, so you just move a few dates around and the job disappears. You might change your D pass on an O level. Did we still do O levels to a C? There's small things like that change, but some people tell whopping great lies. But the reality is,
as well, don't we? That is I've become quite cynical because I think everyone, as soon as they open their mouth, they're lying to me because I had a candidate that cancelled an interview today, and I'm not going to say the reason just in case they're watching this, and I was just like, really, you kind of gave me the indication yesterday that maybe that today was just a little bit too soon for you to do the interview, but just say, look, dude, I couldn't do it. I couldn't get it done in time. That's a much plausible conversation than saying that your cousin's died or your uncle's died or your dad died.
The fish is eating the dog, right? Be honest, right? But yes, look, it's actually, is it okay to sort of just massage a few things? Yeah, maybe. But in a CV, you want to put your best foot forward. You want to look the very, very best, right? So when you say that you are a supply chain distribution consultant in a high working, high pressure environment, what you mean is you worked in a pub.
Yeah.
But you can still put it in the best light.
But that's a positive for creativity. At least that a really good example, because Connor, who's working for me now, we work with all different people from all over the world, right? And there's a certain bunch of people that we speak to that you'll say, so if I gave you an aeroplane and you had to fly to Cape Canaveral and then get in a space rocket and fly it to Mars, would you be able to do it? Yes, of course, Anthony. I've done it twice already.
Yeah.
You're like, really?
Been there, done that.
Put me in the interview. I'll do fine. I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. I've got 35 years Java experience.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Java. Isn't that a fruit smoothie?
No, it's a programming language. It's less than 35 years old. But but people do. People exaggerate and all that. And so the problem is, the other thing is with the traditional CV, and I'm not a fan of the traditional CV, as you well know, is it's kind of like a menu of past exploits in a very one-sided view of business. There needs to be some personality to it. There needs to be some extracurricular activity to it. There needs to be. I'm not saying you want to put up there that you got that you were the guy twirling the baton at the front of the marching band. Nobody's interested in that. Well, maybe they are. But there needs to be more than one-dimensional work, this job, this job, this job, this job. There needs to be elements to it of what else you contributed to society.
Why?
Because that is what makes you who you are. The rest of it is the job.
Do the people that you're going to go work for want you to be you, or do they want somebody that they want you to be?
No, if I took someone on as a and they were doing an administrative role and nothing too junior, and somewhere on their CV it said that they worked on the school fundraising committee and they done which they've been doing for the last 3 years. There's a whole skill set there that isn't played out in their job history, right? They're good at fundraising, they're good at targeting, they're good at managing. They're good at squeezing money out of people. They're good at promoting. A whole lot of stuff that wouldn't be there if it was just their jobs. So we need that stuff on a CV, and then it'll still be full of more lies, I suppose, because there'll be more stuff to lie.
I remove people's added activities that they do all day long, and I love reading them, but I then remove them because one of the guys today, he was 52 years old. One of his, and I'm not going to say what it was, but he had listed as his fun things to do was something that you wouldn't put on a CV.
This is a family show, right?
I'm like, dude, no, it wasn't rude, but it was like, it wasn't too rude, but it was just something you wouldn't write on a CV. And, I hope people that are watching this that don't mind that I take those things off at the bottom of it, just because we'd like you to get the job.
At the bottom of it, there you are. So it's an afterthought. There's a whole thing there. But, the problem is, what do we do instead of a CV? I mean, you go online now and it's like, click here and you can use your LinkedIn profile to fill in. So instead of taking your time, applying for a job, writing for a cover letter, you go on, other social media as well, and you go like that job, click, like that job, click. But before you've had breakfast, you've applied for 20 jobs, and from your point of view, you've got 2,000 CVs. You're never going to view. So the problem is, there's now just such a clatter of CVs, and you might as well just flick a coin. Yeah, that one.
Okay, so networking and events.
Yeah, how do we get onto CVs?
Yeah. So I think that we're coming up with a program now, aren't we? Anyway, which we can't tell anyone about, but we'll have it out there for next week, which is quite interesting for us to do on a Friday morning. I quite like us doing this. Yesterday was really fun, right? It was super fun. It was one of the funnest ones that we've done. I love it when Joella is on right on one because she just becomes the easiest person. She goes into full professional coaching mode, doesn't she? But why do you think that, John? But why do you think that? And I think that if we look at what Seedcast is you and I having a debate about stuff, and some today's been a fairly we're on the same mindset of I can't believe I just said that.
You got to 28 minutes before you said the other word.
So I think, in short, and potentially closing, networking, we need it 100%. People need to go and see other people. They need to learn from other people. If I want to be a banker, I want to go and talk to bankers about what I want to do. If I want to be a recruit, I've got one of the ladies that works for us, our senior operations manager in the business. Her son, 17, came and interviewed with me today to start work, and he starts tomorrow. And he is like 17 years old, dude. He is green behind the ears, wearing a gilet, and I'm pretty sure he calls it a body warmer. And he's like, yeah, I want to earn money. You tell me what I've got to do. I just want to earn money.
Good. That's the attitude. Send him off to a networking event. I'll be there. Tell me which one he's going to. I'll have a pint.
Yeah. John will be the one in the corner drinking a pint. Yeah.
No, I just think networking, it's suddenly changed now, and no one's it's all going to change back. And actually, it's a good thing. Networking is about people. It's not about 60 seconds on a TV screen. Bang, go. Next one.
Okay.
Next one.
So let's get some data out on this. That list that we were supposed to write earlier on as well, we got halfway through it, which is good. So we're getting somewhere with that one. But end of June, in a month, I want us to do this London networking event. Even if 10 people show up, it's a lot. It's good. We'd like a few more, obviously, but it will be in either One Poultry or Moorgate. We work free beer, and I think that we take it on the road, and we do this LinkedIn live, Seedcast live. No.
How are we going to film that? And well, I'll worry about that another day. Right? Yeah,
into
looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. End of June. Lovely.
If anyone knows who's got any, you can buy those cameras, can't you? They'll just plug into your computer and you just stick them into the room.
I've got one. It's there.
Perfect. Yeah. Where is it?
There.
No, can you put the camera on it? Cool. Well, it's 7:30, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a fairly tame one. I'm absolutely broken. I've done like 75 hours in the last 2 days. I'm knackered, so I'm actually in my pants right now. And I'm gonna walk over to my bed there.
No. Camera off first. Camera off.
Yeah. And it's good though. I do like this. Seedcast is starting to evolve into something. Seedcast live, Seedcast networking events. I think that the umbrella of what we've created here is something that can branch out and reach out to many different areas, but still have the same message. I quite like doing networking events where we start off with a subject and we get everybody involved in it and so on and so forth. I quite like that. Doing it, on Old Broad Street in the Costa there, and getting 30 people in there and having a discussion about something that is poignant, in the news or whatever. But anyway, guys, it's 7:31. John, it's been a pleasure as always. I do enjoy these. I'm knackered though, but so I'm going to go to bed. It's Tuesday the 25th of May. It's 7:31. We're wishing everybody a lovely evening.
As you look out across the beautiful car park and the M11.
It's actually quite nice to watch. Just sit there and watch the cars drive past. But anyway, have a good evening, guys. Take care.